and welcome to CommLab India's eLearningchampionpod. I'm your host Tanushree, and today we will be exploring the exciting world of video-based learning, the what, why and how of it. We will be looking into the different types of videos and how they can be used in corporate training. We'll also discuss some of the common myths that are floating around video-based learning and a few AI tools that can be used to craft immersive videos your learners would fall in love with. Let's dive in. And joining me in this interesting conversation is Shalini, Director Learning Solutions. Welcome to the podcast, Shalini.
Thank you, Tanushree, and a very warm welcome to all our listeners. This is a happening topic because videos are omnipresent.
Right.
So, I'd like to actually begin this by throwing one quick question to our listeners.
Sure.
How many of you are riding the video-based training wave? Are you riding it, or are you testing the waters, or are you still on the shore? So, in most of our webinars that we've done and in our surveys with our customers, we found that the maximum number of people were actually riding the wave already.
Right.
And it was only a very small percentage that was still hesitant to venture into this format.
Oh, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
So to begin with, could you please let us know, maybe for the people who are new into the world of video-based learning, let's begin with the basics and let them know that what is video-based learning and why is it becoming so popular in today's corporate L&D landscape?
Right. So, I think video-based learning really needs no introduction as such, but it's using videos as a training tool. And the reason why they are so appealing, I think one of the biggest reasons is that they appeal to multiple generations of learners, right from the boomers down to the Gen Zs.
Right.
And if you notice the way we consume content in our everyday life, I'm sure that by the time we reach midday, most of us would have already seen 2 videos either on YouTube or on LinkedIn. So it is a format we naturally gravitate towards too because they are so convenient. And invariably, they are micro-learning. You know, the format is so small, digestible. It's so quick that we can take it on the go. You know, while we're waiting for someone or we have a minute to spare in between work.
Right.
So that, I think, is the main appeal. Of course, with training videos, we would obviously have to probably devote a little more time than just this 30-second, 1 minute surfing that we do on YouTube and LinkedIn. But the fact remains that video-based training delivers a lot of advantages in the shortest possible time.
Right.
So I'd like you to think of, I'll read out some advantages and in your mind, mentally tick off the ones that you feel apply to video-based learning. Enhanced flexibility, enhanced learner engagement, enhanced retention, better cost effectiveness, training available on demand, suitable for micro-learning. So I'm sure, I think all of us would have ticked off almost every one of these.
Right.
So therein lies the appeal for
Exactly.
learners and also for the organizations that roll out video-based training.
Right. So that's interesting, Shalini, to understand that videos are everywhere today and everyone is comfortable using them, whether it's for a source of entertainment or as a learning tool.
Right, right.
And given a choice between reading a 5,000 word article and watching 2 videos of maybe 4 minutes each that illustrates the central idea of the article, most would opt for videos.
Correct.
Right? So, could you please share that how video-based learning is a game changer for training today's workforce?
Right. So, what you mentioned about videos being the prime form of entertainment.
Right.
Yeah, that is so true. And now learners are expecting training not to be entertainment, of course, but to be as engaging as possible. And on this topic, I just remember, since you talked about the mass appeal of videos, the biggest question in people's mind is, are they really effective? Maybe for entertainment.
Yeah.
But what about actual training? What about actual learning? I remember this Ellen show. She talked about an article that she read in USA Today, in which an 8-year-old kid drove himself and his 4-year-old sister to McDonald's.
Okay.
Based on just one thing, that he learned how to drive watching a YouTube video.
Oh my God.
And I'm sure the sister also must have watched some video because she could navigate. I mean, jokes apart, it looks like we can pretty much learn anything through videos nowadays.
Right.
I remember when there was a time when a lot of us were not very enthusiastic about video-based training, especially those of us who like a lot of text. But the pandemic taught us, during the lockdown, during the pandemic, sometimes these video tutorials were our only hope for getting certain things done in the absence of any external support.
Certainly.
So that's when we realized that, okay, they are very powerful. I mean, a lot of us knew it all the time, but this really brought into the limelight, the effectiveness of video-based training.
Right.
And you mentioned why are they a game changer. So I think one, it's not just the learners that these videos benefit. They are a benefit to the organization as well.
Right.
Because while learners find them engaging, quick to take and so on, for the organization also there are a lot of benefits in terms of more cost effectiveness. For instance, it takes far less to turn out a video-based training than a conventional e-learning format.
Right.
So there are cost benefits, there is this on-demand aspect of videos which organizations can leverage very powerfully to serve it up, make it available to the learner at their point of need. Right. So it's a win-win actually, I would say, for both the learners and the organization.
Right.
And the reason videos have really been a game changer is that, we are not really limited to one or two options. There are all kinds of videos out there to suit diverse preferences. Different learners prefer different ways of looking at things, different look and feel. So I think now we are in that age when it's possible to cater to the needs of such a diverse workforce, a multi-generational workforce, a workforce with different, very widely different learning preferences and so on.
True.
And of course, the reason they are the biggest game changers is because now they are so easy to develop.
Right.
With technology and especially AI, being the biggest game changer of all.
Right.
There are a lot of options out there.
Right. So as you mentioned that video-based learning is like a win-win situation for both learners as well as the organizations. They are not only just a simple tool for imparting training, but it makes the whole learning process so engaging. And since it can be integrated into the workflow, and as you said, that accessibility comes into picture, so learners are free to access video-based learning from anywhere, anytime as per their convenience.
Right.
True.
Right.
So, Shalini, what are the different types of videos that we can talk about when it comes to video-based learning, and how can we use them in corporate training?
Okay. So, I would say, we could divide up videos roughly into these categories. The first is demo videos.
Right.
I'm sure all of us who've had to teach a product to somebody have always felt that there's nothing like a live classroom session.
True.
Right? Where the instructor can let learners handle the product, point out the various features and so on. But this is where videos are the next best thing. In fact, they give you the added advantage of replaying it as many times as you want.
Correct.
So you showcase a product or you demo a service, you walk people through it. I mean, that's a powerful learning experience, and it's very quick. It's a quick win, especially for salespeople who need to sell a product, troubleshooting, the tech support
Yes.
team, which looks at fixing troubleshooting issues. You can walk the learner through it.
Even the service technicians.
Service technicians, oh, that's
Yeah.
a huge win.
Right.
Because there's nothing like seeing the thing being fixed right in front of you,
Correct.
and all you have to do is go and replicate it.
Yeah.
So that is actually a very great example, and the quickest win
Right.
for that learner group.
Hmm.
Then you have your how-to videos,
Right.
which are, as the name suggests, they walk you very sequentially through a series of steps, and these are ideal for intricate processes or sophisticated procedures,
Right.
where the learner needs to learn in a very structured way.
Hmm.
So how-to videos are, again, I think all our how-to tutorials on YouTube during the lockdown,
Well, yeah.
that they attest to the versatility of this and the effectiveness of this format.
True.
Then you have the explainer videos, which really are very popular because you can use them to explain abstract concepts. You can break down complex information into simple, digestible bits. So basically, you can use any style to explain this. Explainer videos are popular, and then we have simulation videos, where the learner is put into a simulated environment. It's an immersive experience. You put the learner into as close a real world scenario as possible, and the learner interacts and does things, takes decisions, and so on. Now, one very popular way of using simulation videos is for software training,
Right.
because there you can replicate the user interface. The learner engages with the course as if it's the application itself, navigates through it, interacts with it, and they would see what the kind of results that they would experience in real time if they were working on the actual application itself. So simulation videos are very popular, and interactive videos. Okay, that's another great format, because this is especially good for slightly longer videos. You may want to have the learner engage with the video itself. So, insert a quiz, or have the learner hover over something, pause, hover over something, drag something, where the learner is also doing things. It becomes a two-way interaction, because one of the biggest complaints about video, at least in the earlier days, was that it's a passive medium. The learner is not doing anything.
Right.
But interactive videos address that as well.
Okay.
Although, I will come to this part a little bit later when we talk about the myths.
Sure. Yeah. So that's quite interesting, Shalini, that what a variety we have in hand. And definitely it actually makes the learning process so enjoyable for learners.
Right.
When used correctly,
Correct.
then it can be definitely a boon for learners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I think you also asked me, where do you see these fitting, right? In the
Yeah.
corporate training landscape.
Right.
So think about it. Think about your typical training requirements. Are you looking at soft skills? Are you looking at product training? Are you looking at training your technical staff? Are you looking at building leadership and team management?
Right.
Manager training? Or is it something to do with ERP, or any kind of software, or personal productivity? So think about it. No matter what your requirement, I'm sure that we can all agree that video-based training is so versatile that it can address any of these wide range of needs. So that's again one of the reasons why it's being increasingly popular
In today's time.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Right. So I would just like to understand that we have a variety of videos that you just mentioned. How do they differ in terms of look and feel?
Right. So we have, of course, the real videos, the live action videos, where you have real people, real props.
Right.
It's a live shoot, and these do have their place. I mean, sometimes it's very important to have a live person communicate something.
Right.
So those are your real live shoots. Then you have your animated videos, and again these are very popular because they don't put that kind of a cognitive overload on the learner. The moment you see something animated, you tend to be a little more relaxed and be more receptive in a lot of instances.
Yes.
Especially if it's something, some topic which really doesn't interest you too much, but you put that in the form of an animated video, the learner is more likely to engage with it. So you can use illustrated characters, motion graphics and so on.
Right.
And then you have your whiteboard animations, which again, they kind of replicate an instructor writing on a board, except that, it's so much more visually engaging, the animated,
Right.
the
Whiteboard
whiteboard
animations.
animations.
Yeah.
So those are again popular, especially when you have to explain a concept, draw out something, a flow chart, maybe explain some small concept. I remember we had used animated videos very effectively for soft skills, where we had just 1 minute animated these whiteboard animations. I'm sorry, and telling a very quick small story, and they were so popular, and they were very well received by a customer.
Wow, interesting.
So then of course you have your talking heads, where you have avatars, the use of avatars, and these look like real people. They have eye gestures, hand movements, so it's like really looking at a real person, and you have a variety of these talking heads to choose from.
Correct.
So that makes you don't have to shoot a real person. See, live video shoots are expensive, all said and done.
True.
It's not easy. It's not a time efficient way to get training done, in the sense that so much more that goes into a live video shoot.
Agreed.
But now you have a fantastic substitute, the talking heads.
Yeah.
I'll probably mention it a little more in detail later.
We
But
would love to hear.
these are some of the various very different visual styles that are available.
Right. So it's so nice to know that videos actually are a fantastic strategy that have actually no limits to their usage for imparting training.
Right.
But given that still some organizations are skeptical about actually using videos to impart training. So why do you think that these organizations are still not ready to ride the video-based learning wave?
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good question, Tanushree. And yes, you're right. There are some organizations which continue to be a little skeptical, because there are some myths, which are floating around, which may not necessarily still be true. Maybe at some point, they might have been partly true, because I think there was a time when the cost of production of videos was pretty high.
Right.
But probably that myth that lingers, that perception still lingers in the minds of L&D managers and organizations.
True.
But the fact is that with technology and with the advancements that we've made, now our videos can be produced at a fraction of the cost.
True.
So that's one myth, the cost factor. The time,
Yes.
the effort required, again, is a huge thing. People, one of the myths is that, this is going to take far too much time. But again, as I said, there are tools that make our life so much easier. Another common myth is that, which I touched upon briefly at the beginning, is that videos are passive.
True.
But think about it. Think about the most gripping movie you saw recently. If you think about it, the movie is nothing but a long video.
Correct.
You're not really interacting with it. You're not doing anything. But you were in, hook, line and sinker. You were glued. So that is the power of videos. If we create a compelling story, if we create something compelling content, then, it's not necessary for the learner to have to do anything. They are automatically pulled in. They are engaged.
Right.
They are able to comprehend better, and as a result retain better. So I would say that, this myth that videos are very passive, it all depends on how well you create your video-based training.
Right.
Sure, there are all kinds of trainings, but everything depends on in the hands of the instructional design team, the learning design team.
Right.
So if you want to make something really engaging, it's up to you.
Right.
So it needn't necessarily be a, passive kind of an experience for learners. The other myth I want to touch upon is that, there are a lot of organizations which feel that videos are just an add-on. We can do without it.
Right.
But, just look at the workforce. At any point, people are just looking at their phones, watching a video, even employees in their breaks. Now, when somebody is so drawn towards this format, why would you not want to consider using the same format to impart learning?
True.
So I would say it's not just another additional kind of a format, but it should be at the core of your learning strategy. So when you think of a blended learning solutions, videos would form a very significant part of it.
Right.
And of course, there is this other extreme which says that, videos are the solution to every training problem. So I would say that's again a myth, because see, every format has its place.
Right.
Now, very lengthy videos are generally not recommended.
Okay.
And sometimes you don't need a video. Sometimes it could be something as simple as a well-developed micro-learning, course with medium level of interactivity and engagement. Well, that can do the job equally well, provided your content is compelling.
Right.
Then, there's no reason to rush into a video-based training alternative. So I feel these are some of the myths that have stopped organizations from embracing this change that has actually, happened all over, especially among the younger generation, but I think it's across the board.
Yes, definitely. You're right, and as you said, that it is always helpful to be aware about the benefits as well as the limitations of videos when you're actually planning to implement it in your organization as a learning strategy. Right? So given that, how do we use videos in the learning journey of a learner?
Right.
Maybe whether only during training or when at different points, how we can use videos to impart a successful training program to the learners.
Right. So, see, that's the beauty of videos. Because they are so versatile and usually, as I mentioned earlier, they're shorter, we can use them at any stage in the learning journey, in the learning process. As we all know, learning is not a one-off event, it's a process. And the best part is videos can be used even before the learning journey. To promote an upcoming training, for instance.
True.
Give a quick teaser.
Yeah.
Send a sneak preview of the upcoming training.
Just to grab the attention of the
and
learners.
to create that momentum and the excitement around an upcoming training.
Agreed.
If a given training is really important and you really want learner buy-in, shoot a quick video of a stakeholder talking to the learners about why this particular course is going to help them grow professionally, for instance, improve their performance. And it also shows, the leadership's buy-in. Yes. So these are things where live videos can really serve the purpose.
Correct.
And in the case of creating that anticipation and excitement, it can take any format. You can have an animated video.
Yes.
And then at various stages, as I mentioned earlier, in a blended solution, you can leverage videos at any point in that blend.
Yes.
And another interesting way of using videos is, even in the classroom.
True.
I'm sure we all have done it.
Yes.
So you have a live session, you play a video, and then use that to talk about, brainstorm and discuss.
Yeah.
It can serve as a springboard for discussion.
Right, an icebreaker too.
Yes, as an icebreaker, as a to kickstart a thought-provoking discussion.
Yes.
And videos can also be used long after that actual training is over, to offer performance support. like for instance these how-to videos.
Yes.
What you want is for a learner to be able to pull them up at their moment of need.
Right.
So create a library of how-to videos. Make search easy.
Yes.
See, that's of course one of the things that
Yeah.
needs to be taken care of. Otherwise,
Right.
it won't be available at the point of need.
Correct.
And that way, you make sure that you're integrating videos throughout your learning journey. You know, it's an integral part of your strategy.
So that was pretty informative, Shalini, that not only just for the core training, but pre-training as well as post-training, we can use videos in multiple ways to actually help learners have a meaningful learning experience.
Yeah.
So maybe now it would be great if you can shed some light on how AI tools can help in creating immersive videos for learners.
Right. So, I'd like to talk about 2-3 AI tools that we have been using very successfully in our in the training that we develop for our customers. And these are very popular. In fact, they're trending. One is Beyond,
Okay.
which you know really creates these very compelling animated
Right.
animations, shall I say. And they're so visually appealing, and you can select your own backgrounds and so on. And because these are AI generated, you know, you can give a prompt
Oh,
and have it create
created.
from scratch. We've experimented with this and come up with different kinds of backgrounds, different kinds of characters, and you know, nothing like having a quick scenario. For example, if you're talking scenario-based training,
Right.
have a short scenario built using Beyond, and then ask learners questions around it.
Right.
We found that this was very useful. I especially recall this course in which we were training the learners on developing, on you know, delivering the best possible customer experience.
Right.
So we just put up various scenarios, and instead of just it being text-based, we actually animated them, and the learners were so engaged, and you know, it was very
Right.
effective. So that's one. And then we have Synthesia,
Okay.
which is the talking heads.
Yes.
So again, you can give your prompts and have it generate the script and video. So that's a great boon for pressed for time learning
Right.
design teams. And there are so many avatars or characters to choose from,
Right.
and they represent diversity. And I think the latest release of Synthesia has an exciting feature where you can create your own custom avatars.
Wow.
So you can give a clip, your own recording, and then the tool will generate your custom avatar. So when you give it a script, you know, then you see yourself as a talking head, and that looks pretty close to the real person. So that's another interesting feature.
It's so convincing. For example, in the sales training, if such videos are used where the customized avatar, the head of the team or maybe the supervisor is not able to be there, these videos can be extremely helpful, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful.
And also, you know, since you mentioned sales, which is really, sales training is the biggest challenge, and it's also an exciting, you know, field.
Right.
You can showcase, for example, if somebody needs to learn negotiation skills, for instance, show a video. It can be a live, it can be a clip, it can be an excerpt from a bigger video, or you can use it, you know, you can use the Go Animate, the Beyond tool to develop these animated videos, or you can use, as you suggested, the talking heads to, you know, really explain something and explain a video, or to give best practices, to give pointers. So really, I think it's a very versatile medium, and I hope that, you know, with some of the points we touched upon, that some of our listeners are enthused to take a deep dive into it.
I'm sure. So thank you so much, Shalini, for this interesting session. And what I understood from your whole conversation is that videos are a great way to go for employee training, and definitely if they are aligned with the learning objectives, they can bring the best out of the learners.
Absolutely.
Right?
Again, as you said,
Yeah.
the main thing is the foundation. At the foundation, you have to have robust instructional design.
True.
Otherwise, you end up creating a lot of nice looking stuff which doesn't have any impact.
Right.
So that was a good reminder, Tanushree.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm sure that all our viewers have also enjoyed this conversation and found this podcast really insightful. So thank you once more, Shalini.
Thank you.
And for more such informative podcasts on trending topics, stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.